Welcome to Daily Meditation with Sangha Live. Ma, nice to see you arriving, checking in, offering your greetings to one another. All right, so the theme for the week has been nuances of love, loving awareness, inherent loving nature of mind as we rest into the kind of the ordinary miracle of mind, right? The fact that we're conscious, the fact that we're here, super ordinary. And yet the fact that when we just try to actually encounter what is it that's here? How come we're here? How come there's anything that's here? The very miracle that there's anything called experience, called awareness. And we try to kind of grasp how that is or what that is, it completely eludes us. And really, that's what renders the being here a kind of boundless mystery. The fact that it's just ordinary, here, undeniably here. Here's seeing, here's hearing. And in the midst of this undeniable ordinariness, boundless mystery, what is it that's here? Who is it that's speaking? How is the listening happening? What's making sense of what's being heard and what's being seen and what's being felt? Where does that come from? What's the organizing principle of it all? But one thing we notice as we let ourselves, and in many ways that's what meditative practice is, right? As we let ourselves become familiar with the mystery, we're not really trying to solve the mystery. We're becoming familiar. It's very different. If we're trying to solve the mystery, it's like there's an answer to get to. If we're rather just interested in, let me be as deeply familiar, as intimately familiar, as gently familiar, as profoundly familiar as possible with this mysterious being here. And there's various dimensions to this being here that we find. And one of them, one we've been exploring this week, is that as we rest into this, as we allow ourselves to be familiar, as we relax, as we stop trying to manage ourselves so much, as we stop trying to manage our circumstances so much, we find that there's something inherently loving about the way awareness receives experience, greets experience, embraces experience. Beautiful. So we've been exploring some nuances of love and loving awareness this week. And also we have this theme running through the month, right? The theme of committing to sitting. And I thought I'd just link those two a little bit this morning in talking about love and commitment. And maybe first of all, you might just reflect for a moment, what are the associations you have with commitment? If you're asked to commit to something, what happens? Come on, you've got to commit. Please commit. Let's commit. What's the energy with which you commit? Very interesting, because a lot of us have learned to push in order to commit. A lot of times we've learned to tighten in order to commit. And so we end up with a tight commitment, a rigid commitment, a pushed commitment, a forceful commitment, a brittle commitment. And that's one of the major reasons in which we might struggle with commitment, because it doesn't feel good. It feels tight, it feels forced, it feels brittle. And part of us will always rebel against that and want to get out of the push and the rigidity. And so we drop the commitment, and then we feel bad about dropping the commitment. And then next time we're asked to commit, we go, oh, this time I need to push harder. But what about if commitment can arise out of love? It's much more, it's not brittle, it's not forced, and it's also much more sustainable. And so you might, by way of an example, just look at your being here, right? There may be times in your practice where you've tried to push commitment, we've tried to force commitment, and just to consider that, what that feels like and how well that works or not. And then you can probably also find times where where the commitment has sort of arisen out of love. That doesn't mean you like it, right? You might come and sit every day, not because you love sitting, as in find it always pleasant and agreeable. Ooh, okay. But rather because there's that sense of, I know this is good. And there's a sense of aligning. This is one of the features of love, aligning one's actions with one's intentions. So putting yourself in a situation which you know, this is good, this is beneficial, this is helpful. Right? I'm going to show up whether I feel like it or not. Well, there's a really beautiful sense of commitment. It's easy to commit to something that's easy and pleasant and gratifying. But to commit to something that's sometimes boring, to commit to being here, even though actually this morning I feel too tired and I didn't sleep well and I've got a lot to do, and the million and other objections one can find. So it's really just before we meditate together, just a little bit of encouragement to reflect, right, on our love, the usual energy of commitment, and the possibility of love as commitment, and then commitment as an expression, right, of love. I show up here out of love for this practice that I know is beneficial for me. Actually, an act of caring for myself by putting myself in a condition, in a situation that I know is nourishing, good for my nervous system, good for my mental health, good for my emotional well-being, right? Good for my sense of kind of meaning, good for that inner quality of dignity where I feel, yeah, I'm actually aligning my actions with my intentions. So there's that link between love and commitment I'd invite you to reflect on. And then actually, like as we're sitting together this morning, just moment by moment, that the love that allows one to commit, as fully as we're able to this moment, to this breath. And you've probably also got plenty of experience of how that sort of moment to moment, just the committing to presence, how that can be tight. Oh, come on, I've got to stay present. I've got to stay with the breath. Right? And how unhelpful that is. How that creates an inner climate of kind of harshness, intolerance of oneself, judgment. Then how that feeds a sense of discouragement or disappointment. Oh, I've been meditating for all this time and I'm still not as focused as I think I should be. How can we show up to this breath, to this moment, as an act of love, as an act of gentle willingness, as an act of just filling out a little more into the miracle of being here, the ordinary miracle, the boundless miracle, the unfathomable miracle. So I won't speak very much in this morning's meditation. We'll just have this chance to sit quietly together. To sit in this moment by moment commitment to presence. To sit in this love for the ordinary miracle. So please take your seat. It's like this that we practice together. Posture, presence, breathing body, loving awareness. Finding a way to really show up for this moment, this breath, without pushing, without forcing, without tightening or controlling. Finding a way to show up for this moment that is an expression of love. committing to this moment, by caring for this moment. Showing up in a way that's bright, yet relaxed. Tender. Notice where your attention is right now. And take a moment to just check in with the sense of commitment. What are you actually committed to right now? Not theoretically committed to. Just noticing, not with any judgment. Are you actually committed to presence? Or have you actually become committed to some habitual worry or some fantasy or some other distraction? And just seeing how you can re-attune that sense of commitment to being here, not with any push, not with any blame, rather by softening, relaxing. Entering into the mystery of being here. Finding out how to love this moment. committing through relaxing, committing through opening to what's here, committing through caring for this moment's experience. Last few minutes of the sitting. Don't waste any energy in judging how your practice has been until now. Just seeing in a light way how you can show up, even if there's some discomfort or boredom or restlessness or agitation present in your experience right now. Maybe if there's, especially if there's those things, how can you dwell lovingly, accommodatingly, spaciously with the way your experience is through these remaining few minutes of the meditation? May we all cultivate loving awareness. May we all rest into and reside in loving awareness. May we all recognize the essential nature of our own mind and that of the whole mystery of consciousness as that of loving awareness.
Today's podcast is an offering to you from our archive of freely available live daily classes. We make wisdom teachings and meditations as freely available as possible to as many people as wish to practice. You can help ensure we can continue to support a worldwide Sangha by leaving a review wherever you get your podcasts, by sharing this with someone who'd be interested, and by offering a small financial support at sangha.live/donate.